Rebel Moon Part 2. The Scargiver is a 2024 American epic space opera film directed by Zack Snyder from a screenplay he co-wrote with Johnstad and Shay Hatten. A direct sequel to Rebel Moon Part 1. A Child of Fire 2023. The film takes place on the moon of Veldt, where Kora and the crew of warriors ventures to help the farmers to defend and fight for their home against the Motherworld. Sofia Boutella, Djimon Hounsou, Skrein, Michiel Huisman, Doona Bae, Ray Fisher, Staz Nair, Fra Fee, Elise Duffy, Maggi, Stuart Martin, Cary Elwes, and Anthony Hopkins reprise their roles from the first film. A week after it began a limited theatrical run in the US, Netflix released Rebel Moon Part 2. The Scargiver on April 19, 2024. Like its predecessor, the film received generally negative reviews from critics. An R-rated director's cut, titled Rebel Moon Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness, was released on August 2, 2024. Like the previous installment, the director's cut received mixed reviews, but was generally considered to be an improvement. Kora and her allies, Gunnar, Turok, Nemesis, Titus and Mylius, returned to her and Gunnar's village on Veldt, believing that Atticus Noble, whom she had killed, is dead and that her group had prevented the Imperium's return to the village to claim its surplus grain supply. But Eris, working as a double agent for the village and the Imperium, informs them that the Imperium is set to arrive in 5 days. The fighters join the villagers to harvest the grain supply in 3 days, intending to use the flour as leverage to deter the Imperium from bombing the village. Over the remaining 2 days, Titus intends to train the villagers to fight. Kora and Gunnar become lovers, and she admits that Belisarius compelled her involvement in his assassination of the Motherworld's royal family, with Kora herself shooting its Princess Issa. Belisarius had then attempted to frame her for the coup, but she had instead fled to Veldt in an Imperium dropship to hide from the law. Over 2 days, the group trains the handful of villagers in combat, preparing a plan involving digging trenches and tunnels in the fields, planting explosives, and preparing Kora's dropship. The group's members also reveal their pasts to each other, but Kora declines to share her involvement in the royal family's assassination. When Noble arrives with his dreadnought, his forces scan the village, identifying where the women and children, protected by Nemesis and Eris, are hiding, and send troops to capture them to force Kora out. Noble promises to spare the villagers if Kora surrenders, to which she complies, but Gunnar, unwilling to let Kora surrender, triggers the ambush and flees with her. Titus and Turok lead the village in successfully repelling the first wave, though Nemesis is killed defending the women and children. The large contingent of the heavily armored and mechanized second wave of Imperium troops pushes the few remaining defenders back, destroying much of the village, but Kora and Gunnar use her dropship and stolen Imperium uniforms to infiltrate Noble's dreadnought, with Kora laying explosives on its power source. Jimmy arrives to help the villagers and their allies in pushing back the assault, and the explosives detonate, bringing down the dreadnought. Gunnar is fatally wounded, and Noble overpowers Kora in a duel before being wounded by Gunnar and then killed by Kora. Kora and Gunnar flee the dreadnought, and Devra Bloodaxe and her rebel forces arrive in ships to destroy the remaining Imperium troops on Veldt as Gunnar dies. In the aftermath, the village mourns the dead, and Kora admits her past, which Titus reveals he already knew. He also reveals that Issa is alive, and the group declares their intentions to find her and to fight against Belisarius, the Motherworld and the Imperium.